All right, cool. So y'all can hear me. So y'all know who I am. I'm Dwayne, the Credit Man, owner of Reid Financial Solutions, which is a credit repair company. This is Credit Talk. We come out here every single week to discuss a different credit-related topic. Y'all know I'm also the owner of SAM Properties, which is a real estate company. Reid Exotics, which is a car rental company. And what else am I owner? Or Reid Tax and Business Solutions, which is a tax and business solutions company. That's where we're moving all our business stuff over to. LLCs, tax IDs, all that stuff. Business credit, we're going to be doing everything over there shortly. So we're separating everything. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Y'all know this is Credit Talk. If y'all can, share this video, DM this video to 3 of your friends. Let them know we live. But today we're going to be talking about Tradelines, man. And the reason why I want to talk about Tradelines, I always bring up Tradelines when I get a customer or two that call me and think that when they have terrible credit, they can just buy a trade line and that's going to fix everything. I hate to burst your bubble, but sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. So we're going to get into what trade lines are, how to make trade lines, how do trade lines make sense, the cost of a trade line, how they work as far as your credit score calculation is concerned. So we're going to get into all of that, man. But like I said, man, if y'all can share this video to 3 of your friends, let them know we live. This is Credit Talk. We're here every single week. We're also going to be discussing my brand new Tradeline store that's going to be up in a couple weeks. I've partnered with another company. I've been doing a lot of streamlining where I partner with another company that provide the trade lines for me. All I do is just pick out the right ones for you. You know what I'm saying? So it make my job a little easier and still provide you guys with the top rated trade lines. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into it. So I hope everybody's having a good day. Let me know where y'all watching me from, too. That's another thing I want to know. And I hope y'all subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have my YouTube channel that just started. Well, I've been had it, but I literally just started paying attention to it. 3 weeks ago, I had 6 subscribers. Now I got 106 last time I checked. So let's see. Turn this down. Yeah, so now I got 106. I'm trying to get up to 1,000 so I can start making some money. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate y'all if y'all head over there and subscribe. But appreciate y'all. So let's get into it. Oh, no, New Jersey, I already knew that. So let's get into it. So what is a trade line? So a trade line is pretty much an account that you add to your credit report to help boost your credit score, right? So you guys are probably thinking it's something illegal. Trade lines are actually legal. Now let's talk about the illegal part of trade lines, right? There are 2 types of trade lines. You have authorized user trade lines, which are the legal ones. Pretty much those are the ones where somebody adds you to their credit card account, right? And as a result of them adding you to their credit card account, the entire history that they had that credit card duplicates from their credit report to your credit report. Those are called authorized user trade lines. Those are 100% legit. Those actually help your credit score calculation if you get the right trade line. But we're gonna, like I said, later we're going to get into that. And the other one that it's illegal, those are called primary trade lines. Why are they illegal? Because they're pretty much saying that you're the primary user of this credit card when you've never had that credit card. They have primary trade lines. They have primary auto loans. They have primary mortgages. They have all these different trade lines that you can buy, but they are very illegal. I don't sell none of those trade lines. To us, integrity is very important. So we don't sell those type of trade lines. We only sell authorized user trade lines. Now, with the authorized user trade lines, those are the ones where pretty much people with legit credit card accounts that we actually, vetted. We looked at their credit report history. We looked at the payment history. We make sure that they have a nice limit. We make sure they keep their balance low. So when they do add you to their credit card, your score can only go up, not down. And later on, we're going to talk about why trade lines don't work, too. We're going to also talk about that. So let's get into it. So now that you guys know what's illegal and legal about trade lines, because I know you have a couple other people that's around, other credit people that are telling you that trade lines are illegal. They are not illegal. Trade lines are frowned upon because it's pretty much you're hacking the credit system, but it's a legal way to hack the credit system because there was an entire court case based on this where the credit companies tried to take trade lines off the table because they said it's pretty much helping people that don't deserve the help, right? So the argument was, how comes you can sell my information, but I can't sell my own information? That was the argument based on trade lines. The court agreed, and they allowed trade lines to continue impacting your credit score in a positive way or negative way based on the trade line that you pick up, right? So now that we got that out of the way, what's illegal, what's legal with the trade lines. So let's get into authorized user trade lines, the one that we sell, right? So trade lines, like I said, trade lines, you add them to your credit report and they help boost your score. They impact 3 parts of your credit scoring system, right? They impact your payment history. Let's say, for instance, if you have a poor payment history or you have a lack thereof payment history, you'll get a trade line. You will come to us. I would say you need a trade line between 7 to 10 years of good payment history, never paid late. All right? We'll get you that trade line. That'll bring you up from maybe, 79% of paying on time to 100% of paying. Not 100, maybe like 98, 99% paying on time based on your calculation. That's going to drop your score. Another issue that people tend to have is the age of your credit report. People don't realize how important that is. The age of your credit report is very important. If the average age of your credit report is 4 months, your score is going to be low. Maybe on Credit Karma it might be high, but when you go to that car dealership, they're going to say, nah, we can't help you. Your score is too low. You know what I'm saying? So you can get a trade line with 20 years on it, 15 years on it, 10 years on it, crazy amount of years on it. And that'll age your credit report. What they do is they take the average, so they chop that in half. So let's say if you get a trade line with 20 years on it, they're going to chop that in half and give you 10 years, and your credit report just went from 4 months to 10 years old. That's going to shoot your credit score through the roof. A lot of people don't realize that. That's one of the few things that a lot of people don't know about credit reports, and I rarely hear anybody talk about it, right? Another way trade lines help you, which is another way trade lines help you, which is which most people get trade lines for, is for what's called a debt to credit ratio improvement, right? So let's say, for instance, you maxed out all your credit cards. Let's say you have about $10,000 in credit card debt. You're using 90% of your credit cards, and it drops your credit score all the way down. Let's say your credit score is now 580 because you're using 98% of your credit cards, right? So what ends up happening now is you'll come to me and you'll say, hey, I need to go get a car, but I don't have this $10,000 to pay down my credit cards to get it under 30%. So I would say, okay, cool. We can get you a trade line that can help you. Let's say I get you a trade line with $30,000 on it, add it to your credit report. That's going to bring your debt to credit ratio down from 90% to under 30% because of the fact that you added an extra $30,000 to your calculation. So remember, debt to credit ratio is your limits compared to your balances, right? So if you raise your limits from, let's say you're at 10,000 and let's say your balance is $9,999. You're at 99% usage. If I give you a car with $30,000, your limits went from $10,000 to $40,000. So now that $999 that's on there is it's under 30%. So now your credit score is going to shoot back up again. And when you go to a dealership, you're going to be able to get that car. So that's what trade lines are great for. So they're great for the age of your credit report. They're great for the payment history of your credit report. And they're great for the debt to credit ratio of your credit report. For my people that don't have no credit, young people that don't have credit, or people that just started building their credit, right? Trade lines are great for you too. So we have a thing that we do where we come in, and let's say you come to me and you only got like one credit card, you had an auto loan that you just got, and you're trying to get your credit score stronger. Maybe you want to refi your auto loan. I would say, okay, cool. We'll get you a trade line. That's going to impact everything on a credit report like that, where you got a brand new auto loan. Maybe you got one credit card. A trade line will work wonders on that. I've literally seen people go from 580 to 760 because of a trade line. And I'm not talking about no Credit Karma score. I'm talking about Experian. Like Experian FICO scores all in the high mid sevens, high sevens because of a trade line, right? But people one thing you got to understand about trade lines are temporary. They're not permanent. They're temporary. So they're 2 to 4 months. Once they add to your credit report, the clock starts. So whatever you got to get, you got to get. Us here at Reid Financial Solutions, we have a technique that we do to keep your score high, or when that trade line does terminate or fall off your credit report after 60 days, or 60 to 90 days, or 60 to 120 days, what we do is, I'm not going to tell you what we do. You know what I'm saying? Woo! Almost gave you all the secret. But we have a way of making sure your credit score stay high, so that way you don't, that way your score doesn't take that much of a hit. Because anytime you close an account on your credit report, it's going to take a hit. So we have a way of trying to keep your credit score high even without the trade line. So when you come to us, we try to build your credit up the natural, organic way where you don't need a trade line. But I understand life happens. You might need a car. You might need a loan. And let me tell you guys a story about a trade line, right? I'm going to tell you guys 2 stories about trade lines, right? I had one guy that came to me, real good friend of mine. He's been coming to me for years. He started a business. His credit score was beautiful. He had some credit card usage, though. He went and applied for a $50,000 loan and got denied. You know what I'm saying? And he was so hurt when he got denied. He called me. He said, yo, I don't know what happened. I always get approved for this loan, but for some reason, they denied me. He said, I always get approved for loans through them, but they denied me. It was Navy Federal. I said, all right, let me look at your credit report and let me see what's going on. I said, first of all, send me the denial letter. A lot of people don't realize how much jewels is in that denial letter. You have to read that denial letter when they deny you. And his denial said, your credit card usage was too high. I said, all right, cool, we can fix that. I said, I'm going to get you this trade line. Right now, you're at 52%. I'm gonna get you under 20 with this trade line right here. Boom, let's put that on you. So no lie, probably 2 weeks later, he said, yo, my score shot up. I said, okay, cool. He came into the office. We looked over reports. I was like, hey, everything good. Let's apply for the loan. He was like, nah, I don't want to do it. I'm like, why not? He was like, I'm gonna get denied. I said, bro, you good. Apply for the loan. So he sat there. He did it around his phone, whatever. He applied for the loan. No, actually, I did it for him. I went online. I filled out the information for him. He put in his info. I filled everything else out, and I hit submit, and it said you've been approved. And he was so shocked he couldn't believe it, because when you get shut down like that, especially for a dream, he wanted to start a business. He got straight shut down. Like they said no. You know what I'm saying? And 2 weeks later, he got approved for the exact same loan that he just got denied for. And it said, hey, you look like you've been approved. We just need some paperwork from you, and then we can go ahead and process the loan, whatever. And he was so he damn near started crying. I said, bro, you crying? He's like, nah, man, you don't understand. I'm so happy. Like, I've been trying to put this business together for like 2-3 years now, and this money is all I need to, get the business off the ground. I ended up getting this business off the ground. And, Tradelines helped him out. I had another girl who came to me. She also needed a $50,000 loan. Both of these people needed a $50,000 loan. No, I'm lying. The first guy was $30,000. She needed a $50,000 loan. Her debt to credit ratio was higher. She needed a credit card with $50,000 on it, a $50,000 limit to bring her under, I think, 25 or something like that. 25 is like the number I like to be at. So she comes in. I said, look, you need a big trade line. The trade line you need is going to run around $2,500 for that trade line. She's like, all right, I'll pay it. She's like, I trust you, I'll pay it. I'm like, all right, whatever. She pays it. She goes, and her goal was to refinance her car and to get a $50,000 loan so she can pay down her credit cards. She wanted to get a credit card loan to consolidate her credit cards, and she wanted to refinance her car because she bought the car with high credit card limits. She wanted to refinance her car and get that payment down. So, okay, cool. So we go. She gave me $2,500 for one trade line. Got the trade line for her credit report, brought her usage all the way down. She was able to refinance the car, and she got the $50,000 loan. I think she did everything in like 2-3 days. She was so happy, and she's like, yo, I've never been more happy in my life to spend $2,500. So she pretty much spent $2,500 to get a $50,000 loan to pay down all her credit card debt, and she went and refinanced the car. I think she cut her note in half or something crazy like that. So that is just things like that. These are the things that trade lines do when you use them the correct way, right? Another thing with trade lines are very expensive. With us, trade lines start $750. You know what I'm saying? You might be able to get one for $600, maybe $650, but for the most part, the average trade line that we use is $750. So you gotta make it worth it. You gotta have something that you're gonna do. You want to buy a car, buying a house. We're working on a technique for getting houses, because a lot of times what happens is people when the mortgage companies figured out trade lines. So they look at these people's credit reports and they see their credit scores are real high, and they see these trade lines on there because it says authorized user on it, right? So they'll say, hey, we need proof that you own this account, or the person that owns this account. We got you covered. We have accounts that we can show you proof that you own that account, or that you're on that account legally. You know what I'm saying? So we have all that stuff covered with the trade line game. So I feel like the trade lines are the hack that a lot of people don't know much about. People know about it, but they don't really understand how it works. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. What time tomorrow can I come see you tomorrow for the trade line? Just call me before, bro, or text me. Don't just pop up, because y'all be mad when I don't really be here that much. So, you know what I'm saying? I be in and out. You can go ahead. Like, I really be in and out. I don't be here all the time. Sorry, I was gonna take I've been having allergies, and my allergies, I get headaches. So I've been popping these pills around the clock. But I'll be good. As soon as the weather changes fully, I'll be all right. Every year when the weather either gets colder or it gets hot, it gets cold or hot, that in between kills me. Yeah, just text me before you come in. I'm actually going away with the family tomorrow afternoon, so it's probably gonna be in the morning. Yeah, we definitely gotta jump on the phone. My bad, bro. We definitely gotta jump on the phone. Yeah, like I was saying, so that's how you use trade lines correctly. So what we do is this: our trade line process is, you call me up, you say, hey, I'm interested in the trade line. First question I'm gonna ask you, what are you trying to do? You trying to get a credit card? You trying to get a new car? You trying to get a house? Because all these things require a different level of trade lines, right? So if you tell me, hey, I'm trying to get a car, first thing I'm gonna do is, all right, let me look at your report. I'm gonna look at your credit report and see what your report is lacking. Now, one thing you gotta understand with trade lines: the more negative items you have, the less impact your trade line is going to have. So for instance, let's say for instance you got you got an auto loan, you got a credit card that you only have for 6 months, and you might have some student loans. And I look at your credit report, I might say, okay, cool, your credit report is good. Well, you just need to age your credit report, and then we're gonna get you a nice little limit credit card or whatever. So let's say I get you a credit card that has 7 years history on it, never paid late, $15,000 limit. That's gonna hit your report and it's gonna do wonders, right? So you might go from 650, 660 to 720 with that one trade line, right? You really want to make it fun. You get 2 trade lines and really, really go crazy. Like I had a guy with 780 that got 2 trade lines, right? So you get 2 trade lines, you're good in that case. But when you start to have negative things on your credit report, let's say you have recent late payments, let's say you have collection accounts, let's say you have charged off accounts, those things will restrict the hell out of a trade line. So let's say if a trade line could have got you, let's say for easy math, you're going to spend $750. That trade line would have got you 100 points. You're at 580 and you need to get to 650. And I come to you and say, yo, get this trade line. It's going to put you past 650. I wouldn't be able to say exactly where the score is going to go, but it should just be able to make it happen for you. If you have charge off and collections and late payments, that trade line might give you 20 points. So you lost 80 points because of the negative things. A lot of people think that they can just get trade lines, throw it on their credit report, and their scores is going to skyrocket. It doesn't work like that. If you have bad credit, meaning you don't have nothing positive, all you got is charged off accounts, all you have a bunch of collection accounts, late payments everywhere, a trade line will not work for you. I remember this one girl, particular girl, because I still follow her on social media. She went and she needed to get a car. Came to me and said, listen, I believe she had like 5 trade. This was years ago. She had like 5 trade lines, 2 charged offs. I said, yo, you're going to need at least 5 trade lines. I'm thinking if I tell her 5 trade lines at $750 a pop, she's going to say no. 5 trade lines is 30, let me see, 15, 30, 45, $4,000 for 5 trade lines. 15, 30, 37.50 for 5 trade lines. I didn't think she was going to do it. She said, oh, I'm going to do it. And she did it. So she came, she dropped the cash off. We got her 5 trade lines. She went from 501 to 610 with 5 trade lines, right? All because she didn't want to fix her credit. She was like, I don't got no time for that. I said, all right, cool. I said, look, pay this. We'll get you your 5 trade lines, but we'll work on your credit over time too, so that way you can go back and refinance the car. She didn't care about fixing the credit. She just wanted to get the trade lines put on her credit report, do what she got to do, and then she's out. She went in, she got her car. Remember, she got a white Nissan Maxima. She was excited about it, and she actually got a decent interest rate, which I was like, wow, they took care of you on the interest rate. It wasn't too bad, so she was good. That's 5 trade lines. You know what I'm saying? I got a 718, but I only have like 3 years of history. Would it work for me? Yeah, it definitely could work for you. It all depends on what you're trying to do, though. Like I'm saying, if you don't got nothing to do, if you don't got to buy a car, buy a house, it's not really worth it. But if you're just going to buy, if you want to do bragging rights where you want your score to be 750, 760, yeah, why not? But like I said, it only lasts 2 to 4 months based on the trade lines. I do got some that can last as long as you want, but you got to pay a monthly fee on them to keep them going. Yeah, so if you want to keep that trade line on there, you got to pay up. You got to pay it. So another hack that I have with the trade lines, right? The trade lines that I sell personally, I have people that, let's say for instance, you got $10,000 worth of credit. Like I have a $30,000 line, right? So let's say you have $10,000 worth of credit, but you use the $10,000. I have people that use that $10,000, pay it back. Use the $10,000, pay it back every single month. But what happens is if you don't pay it on a certain schedule, it's going to drop your credit score. So what I usually do is I add, them to a personal line that I have, and they pay me monthly for it. And they can max out all their credit cards, but they're always going to be under 30%. But you can actually do that with regular credit cards. You don't need to get a trade line for that. But the trade line is good just in case you don't want to build up all that credit. You don't want to have access to that credit because you don't trust yourself. Then you can get a trade line, add to your report, pay monthly for it, and keep it on there as long as you need it. I got a couple of people that's on my I got a $10,000 Capital One. I got a couple of my friends that's on there that pay me monthly to keep that card going. You know what I'm saying? And as long as they keep that card going, their credit score would never go over 30%. Like I told you guys, my hack, I have 201,000 in credit card limits, right? So in order for me to go over 30%, that's $60,000 I got to spend. And I'm actually pretty close to that right now. I'm actually about to pay that off because I had to make some moves. Yeah, but, these are the things that we do with trade lines. You can work wonders with trade lines. You just got to know what you're doing. I've seen people go and buy trade lines off their friends. Let's say, for instance, I know there's one guy that had he had an Amex with $1,000 on it, had like 6 months worth of history. He charged somebody $1,000 to jump on his Amex that was maxed out. He dropped the dude's score 130 points. So he sent the guy to me. He was like, yo, I don't know what happened. I added him to my credit card and the score dropped 130 points. I'm like, oh, let me check it out. And I'm like, oh, who Amex is this? He was like, oh, that's mine. I'm like, bro, it's over the limit. Like, it was like 1,010. I'm like, it's over the limit. That's why his score dropped. And I was like, plus, he need more than that. Like, his debt credit ratio is too high. You need more than that. So a lot of people think, again, you can just add trade lines to a credit report and your score is going to go up. It has to be the right trade line. It has to trade lines work with the credit score calculation. And a lot of your credit repair people that's sitting around here don't really understand trade lines. What they do is you'll ask for a trade line. They'll just give you a big outrageous trade line because that's all they understand. Oh, I got this one that's 20,000, 10 years. You know what I'm saying? I can add you. I could throw this on your credit report. It's 2,000, and you paid $2,000 for something that you probably could have came to me and paid $750 for what you actually needed. So the trade lines that I get you actually impact your credit score. You know what I'm saying? My bad, guys. You know what I'm saying? So actually, yeah. So we make it happen with the trade lines over here. Yo, what's good? What's good, bro? Hope all is well. You know what I'm saying? I'm into the estate monthly. Let me see. I'm into the estate monthly fix and flips. Okay, nice. How's the market for that right now? Because I thought it wasn't no no market for that right now. Well, I mean, there's always a market for that, I guess, right? Yeah. So like I was saying, man. So trade lines can work wonders if it's done right. Now here's another thing. Let's talk about the bad side of trade lines, right? Again, you have to use them correctly. It all has to be based off what's on your credit report. It has to be based off your credit score. You can't just get a random trade line and throw it in your credit report. I had somebody came to my office the other day, and I told him, I said, look, the trade lines are temporary. They only last this long. This is what you're gonna have to expect. And when you have negative items on your credit report, usually what we'll do is include it in the price of the trade line as the price to do the repair on your credit report. But you got to understand that if you have any recent late payments, that's going to destroy your trade line's impact. You might need 2 or 3. If you have a charged off account, that's going to destroy your trade line's impact. If you have a bunch of collection accounts. So I always tell people, fix your credit first. You know what I'm saying? Like if you know you're leasing a car and your lease is up in 6 months, you need to be coming to get your credit fixed now. Don't wait until the 6 months is up. Don't wait until you got 1 month left to come and fix it. I just buy a bunch of trade lines and throw it on my credit report. It doesn't work like that. Literally, if you have 3 charge off accounts, 5 collection accounts, you don't got no good payment history, you're gonna need 3 to 5 trade lines. And a lot of people don't have $35,000 to $4,000 sitting around for something to put on their credit report temporary. You know what I'm saying? 2 to 4 months temporary. You know what I'm saying? And then you go to the dealership, you gotta do what you gotta do, then boom, your credit goes back down. If you know your lease is up, if you know you need a new car, if you know you want to buy a new car, you want to get a home, whatever you want to do. Let's talk about the home buying with trade lines, right? We got a fix for that. Like I said, when it comes to buying homes now, the home buying process is a little long, right? Like, let's say you throw a trade line on your report to boost up your score, get you pre-approved. When you're going through that closing process, the underwriter is going to say, hey, we see this credit card on here. It's a trade line. We need to see some type of proof that this is your trade line. They want to see a bill. They want to see anything. A lot of times when you buy trade lines off of people, that you don't get access to the bills and stuff like that. So you're just out on your own. But with us, you'll get access to the bills. So we can show with proof that you're legally on that trade line, right? And you didn't pay for a spot. You know what I'm saying? So we have ways of making that happen. And again, another problem with the trade lines with the home buying process, 2 to 4 months. You might not close in 2 to 4 months. They might run your credit a couple days before you close, and that trade line's expired. Now your score's back down. So what we do is we make sure that trade line keeps your score up. You know what I'm saying? Then in that case, you gotta get one of those monthlies that you gotta keep paying, that you don't stop paying. Let's watch what's going on. Can you help us get a bad trade line off line off? Yeah. That's another thing that I do. Sometimes people add you to these credit cards, forget that they added you, and the credit cards charge off, or you get a bunch of late payments, or they max their credit cards out. In that case, I take trade lines off the credit report. I'm like, yo, I gotta take this trade line off. Like I had a lady yesterday who the trade line was maxed out, but the trade line had 26 years worth of history on it. So I said, look, Let me build up your credit report a little more based off this one trade line. Then we can take the trade line off. Your score might take a small dip, but it's going to rebound. So yeah, we definitely can get trade lines off of credit reports. Because I see it all the time where people are added to credit cards and the credit cards go bad. And here's another downside to trade lines, that whatever that person that owns that trade line does will impact your credit score. Whatever you do won't impact their credit score. But if they pay late, it will impact your credit score. If they max out the credit card, it will impact your credit score. If they decide to close that account, it will impact your credit score. So it's like a one-way street. Whatever they do is going to impact your credit score. So this is why I always tell people. People always come to me and say, look, a friend of mine, they have a trade line. They want to add me to it. I'm like, look, before they add you to it, you need to check and make sure they pay it on time and they don't carry a high balance. I've seen a lot of times where people leave me with 701s and come back with 620s and don't know why. And I'm like, well, who card is this? Who Capital One account is this? Oh, that's my friend. He added me. Yeah, but your friend has maxed out his card and your friend ain't paid for the card 2 months. So now I got to take this off your credit report. And, then your score rebounds once I take that trade line off. So we definitely could take trade lines off. So DM me if you got an issue with that. We make that happen ASAP. Yeah, but that's one of the downsides of trade lines. So you got to actually trust the person that you're getting the trade line from. Because you do have a lot of people that will. What's all that noise? My kids are here, and they do not care that I'm live. I'm gonna give them a little camera time. Hold on one second. I think they're coming down here right now. Oh, they're on the other side. But yeah, like I was saying, that's the downside of the trade line. So you better be able to trust the person that you get your trade lines from, because whatever they do will impact you, good or bad. I see trade lines all the time where people carry high balances. I see trade lines all the time where another thing that I see is, let's say a woman her husband might add her to her card. They're not together no more. He stops paying that card because he knows that it impacts her credit score, so he maxed the card out. Just doing little things like that just to kind of piss off, and I got to end up taking those trade lines off. Or what I can do is I build the credit report up around that trade line and then get rid of that trade line. So it's like that trade line was never on there. You definitely got to get with you on Friday. All right, cool. Just DM me. Hit me up. Make this happen. Ms. Watson, what's going on? I ain't hear from you. What's going on? What's going on? Y'all like my cup? Minding my own black business, baby. You know what I'm saying? But that's the one of the bad things about trade lines. But when it comes to trade lines, there's ways around everything. So we make sure that we have everything covered when it comes to the trade lines. And with our trade lines, sometimes you have an issue where the trade lines don't post. So I tell people, look, I say, if you have any freezes on your credit report, I know a lot of people like to put freezes on their credit reports if that does something. If you have a freeze on your credit report, the trade line may not hit your credit report. So on that case, I can't take responsibility for that. You got to make sure you lift whatever freeze that's on your credit report before the trade line hits your credit report. And if it doesn't post to all three, we only guarantee that it posts to two reports. Majority of the time it posts to all three, but you might have a reason why it can't post to one. Like I said, you might have a freeze. You might have an identity theft clause on there. Things like that stop that trade line from coming on your credit report. People don't realize that when you freeze credit reports, you only stop yourself from accessing it. That doesn't stop collection agencies from hitting your credit report. That doesn't stop people from reporting negative items. That don't stop none of the bad stuff. It only stops you from accessing your credit report or anyone from running your credit, right? Just like, how everybody like to talk about those third-party, everybody like to talk about those third-party credit bureaus. LexisNexis, all of that stuff, right? And they tell you, hey, go freeze those companies and they can't get access. That's not true. When you freeze those companies, you stop yourself from accessing it or any other company from accessing it. There's a back channel that's still open. It's the same deal with collection agencies going on your credit report. Freezing your credit report don't stop collection agencies from jumping on your credit report. Just like freezing those third-party stuff don't stop stuff from going to those credit reports. They still have that backdoor access that still moves information around regardless if it's frozen or not. So that's another thing they lie to you about. But these credit gurus, they say whatever they want to you to kind of make you feel good about yourself, I guess. I had to get my EIN number sent to me again. We will talk tomorrow. Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah, but like I was saying, man, trade lines is one of the best things. Trade lines is one of the best things that ever happened to credit reports. but you got to make sure it's the right trade line. And again, we sell trade lines. Don't listen to your favorite credit guru that tells you trade lines are illegal. Or a new thing that I heard they say now, trade lines don't work anymore. Trade lines definitely still work. The reason why it might not work is you might not have got the right trade line. Like for instance, if I told you I got a trade line with $20,000 limit on it and 2 years worth of history, and you have a brand new credit report, that might make an impact, but it's not gonna do no damage. You're not gonna be high sevens. Now, if I would have got you a $5,000 limit with a 10-year history, you would have been high sevens. You know what I'm saying? You got to know which one you're getting. Which what's the best credit? What's the best trade line for you to get? You got to understand how that works. And a lot of your credit gurus don't understand how that works. Here's another thing, not to brag, but I'm gonna brag a little bit. Do you know how much credit gurus I trained that are credit gurus now? It's funny to me when I see people that came to me for me to train them, or I helped fix their credit and kind of show them what I was doing, and they turn around and started fixing credit. Now they're credit gurus. It's amazing, but it is what it is. But like I said, man, this is just this is what we do. Y'all know me. I'm Dwayne the Credit Man. I'm owner of Reid Financial Solutions, which is a credit repair company. I'm owner of SAM Properties, which is a real estate company. Reid Exotics, which is a car rental company, and Reid Tax and Business Solutions, which is a business solutions company. You know what I'm saying? So now I want to tell you guys about we got a new trade line store coming. So the trade line store is pretty much going to be on my website. You'll be able to go to the website. I'm going to look over your credit report, and I'm going to say, hey, you need something with this much history, this much limit. You go in the store, you pick what you want based on the pricing, based on what they post on your credit report. You make the payment from right there. No longer do you got to send me the money, and then I submit the payment, and then I tell you when it's going to post, because then, you got to wait a day or two for me to get the information. Nah, you do everything yourself. Everything is right there. You make your payment, you get your receipt. That tells you, hey, this is going to be on your credit report by this day. On that day, you check your credit report, see if it's on there. If it's on there, whatever you do, you come back to me. Hey, the trade line is on here. Boom. I come in, I'll do my work. I just step back and let you pick what you want to pick, and kind of takes takes less work for me, a little more work for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's how. So the new trade line store is gonna launch soon. They're working on it now, and then once that happens, like I said, you guys can go in there. You can even if you want to start a little side hustle where you sell trade lines, you can come onto my store and you become a salesperson for the store, and you can sell trade lines. You know what I'm saying? Get your cut. And I mean, so I'm working on all of that right now, where I can have actual sales guys that just sell trade lines. So you can sell people trade lines, and you can go to my store. You have your own login. You can go in there and you can buy trade lines and add your money to it, whatever you want to add, and boom, you can eat. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get everybody to eat. So I'm trying to eat without actually making the food. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal. But the trade line store gonna be up soon. Shout out to y'all that picked up my book. If you ain't picked up my book yet, grab my book. It's called Understanding Credit. It's available on Amazon. I'm trying to sell 500,000 copies. You know what I'm saying? We sold a couple hundred already. Need to get to 500,000. So y'all not doing a good enough job. Y'all got to buy more books. You know what I'm saying? So I got that out. Y'all already know it's about to be summertime. If y'all know we got the car rentals. If y'all got a prom coming up, we got the Lamborghini Urus. We got the BMW i8 Roadster. We got a Tesla Model X. Those are the 3 big cars we got. So if y'all got any proms coming up, holler at us, man. You know what I mean? We'll take care of you. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. If y'all got any questions, go ahead. But I'm about to jump up out of here. I know I was a little late. And I will be chopping up this video. You guys will see this video circulating online. You know what I mean? Well, parts of this video. And subscribe to my YouTube channel too, man. You know what I mean? Check out my YouTube channel. I got 106 subscribers so far. I went from 21 to 106 in like 2 weeks. So we're not doing bad. So if y'all got any questions for me, go ahead and ask before I get up out of here. Let's see, did I miss anything? Oh, I feel like I had something else to tell y'all, but I can't remember. My kids are on spring break, so I'm like exhausted. You know what I mean? No more close friends. Yo, the close friends thing, man. I'm thinking about doing something else. I'm gonna post something up there tomorrow though. The close friends thing is like it's very hard to keep up with. And I think what I should have did was I'm gonna revamp it, and I'm gonna schedule. I'm gonna put myself on a schedule. I put lessons up based on schedule, because I would just drop lessons randomly. You know what I'm saying? But how long do the trade lines last? They last anywhere from 2 to 4 months, unless you get a monthly trade line where you keep paying on it. to keep the trade line going. So we got those two. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna have the whole trade line game figured out, so locked and loaded. You know what I'm saying? Where you go get that trade line, jumps on your credit report, do what you got to do. Try and be the number one trade line store on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? Where you just come and get what you get. Easy transactions. You pay for everything right there on the spot. No games. You got customer service in case you got any issues. You got me to look at your report to tell you what you need. You know what I'm saying? And you just go buy what you need to get based on your price, what you want to pay. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I go to people and I'm like, oh, the trade line is $800. They be like, oh, nah. They be like, oh, why you ain't talking about the other one? I'm like, oh, the other one was $1,200. Oh, I would have paid it. Like, all right, see, that's the thing about the trade line the way it is now, is because I can't show you my access to my trade lines. You know what I'm saying? I can only look at it for you. And with this, you can actually look at the trade line yourself and you can see it. You know what I'm saying? That way you could jump on and do your thing. If you want to sell trade lines, you can sell trade lines. You can do all of that. You know what I'm saying? And the link, the monthly trade lines, we're working on that now. That's gonna be the new trade line store that we're putting together. So that's gonna be up in a couple weeks. That should be up, a week or two. The new trade line store should launch, but I'll put it out when it launch. So that way you guys can go in there, you can check out the trade lines, you can purchase them right there on the spot. You can have customer service. If it don't post, you just call them, they'll take care of you. Everything is covered with this. How long do you wait until it posts a report? It could post in as little as 10 days. Sometimes it takes up to 30. It all depends on the trade line. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, trade line store about to be lit. I hope you guys, enjoy it. And like I said, I'm trying to make everything where I don't have to be here. Like, you know what I'm saying? You guys can do what you got to do without me, waiting for me to call you back or waiting for me to interfere. You can just send me the report. I'll look it over. Yo, boom, boom, boom. Here's what you need. You go on the website. You pick whatever trade lines you want. You pay for them. They send you the email. You got your date. You got all that stuff. When it posts, you call me. You'll post it. We go from there. You know what I'm saying? That's how we doing it now. So that way I ain't gotta be in the middle no more. Let me see. My phone's going crazy right now. What's going on? People know I'm live, but they actually think I'm off live. Oh, that ain't right. Yeah. But it is what it is, man. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. How long do you wait until? Oh, we already answered that, right? How long do we wait? Yeah, it's from 10 days to 2 weeks to 30 days. But like I said, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Judy, what up? Speedy, what up? Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Y'all know who I am, Dwayne the Credit Man. So we on here a little late because I started a little late. So I try to give y'all some more time back. But I'm going to give y'all another minute to ask whatever questions y'all want to ask about trade lines. And then we out of here, man. And people, don't get me wrong, don't get it twisted. People been using trade lines for years. Back in the day, I remember I used to have this Jewish guy that had like all his boys used to come to me about all their trade lines. Anytime they had a real estate deal to try to get done, yo, I need a $20,000 trade line. I need a $10,000 trade line. They knew about all the hacks to get their credit scores up. You know what I'm saying? These Jewish dudes knew everything. I'm talking about the hair on the side Jewish guys used to come to me and get these trade lines like this. That's when I had my own. I had like 15 or 20 credit cards that I built, that I aged just for this. And I was moving trade lines left and right. I was charging $500 a trade line. I was moving them left and right. Right? Let me tell you the story. So, when I first started doing trade lines, like I said, I had 5 to 10 credit cards that I had, right? I had the credit cards for 2-3 years, each credit card. They ranged the limits from $300 to $20,000, right? And I had these Jewish guys. They learned about me, came in. He was like, yo, we need we need the trade line, blah, blah, blah. I'm moving trade lines, $500 a pop. I'm making like $5,000-$6,000 a month just off trade lines, right? And this when I was in the basement. Y'all remember when I was in the basement in Irvington? So I'm in the basement moving trade lines like crazy. Then I had a guy come to see me one time, right? He had a brand new credit report. He's like, yeah, man, I got this credit report, whatever. I never had no credit. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to sell you 2 trade lines, blah, blah, blah. Establish your credit, and we're going to make it happen from there. He's like, all right, cool. Yo, tell me why this guy came into my office with a CPN. Didn't tell me it was a CPN. Told me it was a regular credit report. This before I knew about CPNs. Came in with a CPN. I gave him 2 of my trade lines, right? 30 days later, they shut down 7 out of 10 of my cards, right? I was so pissed. I'm like, yo, bro, you came here with a CPN? He's like, oh, no, it's not CPN. I had a identity theft. Blah, blah. I said, bro, you had a CPN. What's the name? Yo, shut down 7 out of my 10 accounts, bro. That shut down my whole trade line business. I was pissed. I was messing with these Jewish dudes for like a year straight. Never had an issue, right? This guy comes in with a CPN. Didn't tell me it was a CPN because I would have told him, yo, we don't do that. Like, these trade lines for socials only. Shut down 7 out of 10 of my cards. I was so pissed. And this is why I said to myself, you know what? I'm not using my own personal cards no more. I had like 3 Capital Ones. They shut down all my Capital Ones. I had a Kohl's card at the time. They shut that down. I had what was the other one? Was it Bank of America? I forgot what the cards was, but they shut all my cards down. One by one, they were just closing. They shut down my business. I had a Capital One business card. They shut that down. They shut everything down because of this dude that came in and tried to be slick with a CPN. And up until today, that still pissed me off. Because I'm thinking to myself, damn, I was dealing with these other dudes for a year, never had an issue, money was always right. And the one time somebody that walked through that door looked like me, shut my whole business down and defrauded me. You know what I'm saying? These are the things that you got to look out for when you're doing stuff like this. This is why I try to stay as, try to have integrity and morals when it comes to business. And this is why I don't like lying to people. This is why I don't like just taking people money and running. That's why I don't do none of this. This is why I got an office so you guys can come and see me. But that pissed me off, that real bad, man. That's what shut down my first CPN, my first trade line business that I had. There's a guy defrauded 7 years. You know what I'm saying? It took me years to build them cards up. Just for him to shut them down like this, 30 days. Only made $1,000 off them and shut down all my cards. But it is what it is. I learned a valuable lesson that time. And I also studied what CPN were, and I realized what a CPN and what the numbers look like and how to know as a CPN. So now when I see these credit reports, I know it's a CPN. I'm like, nah, I don't do trade lines for these. You know what I'm saying? Because people won't tell you there's a CPN. They're trying to defraud the system, so they're going to come in and try to defraud you. They don't really care about what you got going on and none of your stuff. They just want to come in, build up their CPN, and go do whatever they got to do with it. I don't get involved in that stuff because, like I said, my integrity is worth too much. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Y'all know who I am. I'm Dwayne the Credit Man. This is another episode of Credit Talk. We'll be back next week, Wednesday, for another credit-related topic. So, yeah, man. And if you're watching this on a rerun, just type in rerun so I can know you watched it afterwards. But I appreciate y'all. Share the video. Let people know we live. We talk about trade lines. So hopefully I went over everything about trade lines and you have a firm understanding of trade lines now. But I appreciate y'all. See y'all next week. Peace.